I'm Charlotte, and I am going to show you how to do your own coloring book wraps. Okay, I'm going to start with a couple of sample sheets, mainly because I have them and it's easy to demonstrate on. Next, I've got some Sharpie, very fine tip markers. So pick the color you want. You can see I've already started on this wrap. And you just color wherever you want the color to be. So I'm using black and white ones because I think it's easier to see the color. But you could color on any of them if you wanted to. A little bit more blue. Okay. I'm also going to do lava lamp. So you can do these in any colors you want. You can let your kids do them. Super, super easy. The only thing I will say is make sure you let them sit for about a minute before you go to actually apply the wrap. That way the ink dries completely. Okay, and I'm going to color in some of the other around it. I'm going to go with the dark blue. What got me started thinking about this was my niece likes to color in a coloring book. And I know lots of people like to do that. So I thought, why can't you color your own wraps? So I decided to give it a try. And it works. So now you can have completely original nails that are unlike anybody else's out there. And it doesn't cost you anything at all, hardly. If you don't have Sharpies, then it'll cost you about, this pack was, I think, $9, or you can get the big, huge pack with like 36 colors if you want to spend a bit more. Okay, I finished coloring that one. I'm also going to color on this clear one just to kind of show you what you can do. I am going to use a bright orange for it, and I'm going to just kind of color over the entire wrap. Now you can also do this with a highlighter or any kind of a pale marker. And you can also do this one with a much wider tip marker, obviously. Fine tip isn't as important if you're just coloring over the entire wrap. Make sure I get the whole thing. Okay, so now what you get is a slightly tinted clear wrap. See how you can still kind of see behind it. Okay, so we're going to let that dry. Okay, now that we have our colored wraps, okay, now we have our painted wraps, so we're going to put them on. I'm going to turn my mini heater on, and I'm going to cut out my first wrap. Now I have already done all of my nail prep, so you would obviously have to do that. Okay. I do cold application, so I set the wrap on there, then I heat it, and then I press it. And I trim my end. Beat it again, just a couple of seconds. And I make sure and press around and seal really, really well. Especially making sure to get the tips. There we go. So I'm going to do that with all of my other ones. Okay. So I've got 2 wraps on. I'm going to put on the other ones. Now I'm doing these on nails that I wouldn't necessarily normally put them on, just so I can do them all on the same hand to show. Now this is the lace one that we did. So again, I use the cold application method. And I find that this definitely works better with the markers because obviously when it heats up, it can get, the color can get a little bit runny or melty. So if you go ahead and press it down while it's cold and then just basically heat it up to seal it. Trim the tip. Make sure it's all pressed down. And heat it. Make sure we press all around the edges. To seal it really well. Okay, now I'm going to do the next one. Now then, sometimes when you're heating them and pressing them down, a little bit of the color can come off. It is super easy to just grab your little Sharpie and you can just color it back in. No problem. And you could actually color your wraps this way if you wanted to. If you're that talented. I personally am not quite talented enough to color on all of my nails. Okay, the next thing we're going to do is our gel base and top coat. This is what seals in the color for you. So gel is a super important part of this. I really don't think this would work if you didn't have gel. On the gel base coat, remembering to cap your ends. Use your orange stick to clean up your edges. And then you cure. Okay, now you're ready for your top coat. Remembering to cap your nails. That's super important when you're putting on the gel. Do your cleanup. Making sure to get under the nail. That is where I'm the absolute worst about it. And then you cure again. Okay, now that our top coats had time to cure, wipe them down with alcohol. And there you have it, your very own custom design nails.